or composition of functions. So they give you this whole definition. It's kind of confusing to read. The idea is X is the input of G, and then G is the input of F. And again, that's still confusing. But if you imagine, let's go back to my chicken story. So here's a chicken. So if chicken is your X, chicken is your input going into this factory, and output is your chicken nuggets. So let's say this is G. So your G of X is your chicken nuggets, right? And then what you do with those chicken nuggets can go through another process. As the last class talked about, well, it goes through your body. Let's call that F. And then out comes human waste. Now that is your F of X. So it's a process where you start with an input. In this case, let's call it chicken. You go through the factory, which is your G. Out comes your G of X, which is your chicken nuggets. And then once you get that chicken nugget, because you can't just eat the chicken, the raw chicken, you're showing the chicken nuggets. Then it goes through you, which is your F, and then you output an F of G, or F of X. And notice it doesn't work going backwards. Okay, so composition of functions are not commutative, where one way is the same as the other way. So let's look at this table. If I'm going to split this into two parts, X, F of X, and G and X. So I'm going to write the X and G of X first. I'm just going to copy down those numbers. So, G of 3. So G of 3 means G of 3, this means X equals 3. What is G? That's what it means. So here's X equals 3. And you see that G is 2. So G of 3 is equal to 2. But if you want to know F of G of 3, so it's kind of a map. So once you go from 3 to 2, then you find the X value and go there. So F G of 3 is equal to 8 because you know that G of 3 is equal to 2. So it's a portal map where you start one spot, and then that leads you to the X, and then it leads you to your F of X. Similar, G F of 3. If we're going the other way, so G F of 3. So I'm going to look at the X box in my F of X. So we know the F of 3 is equal to 3. So now that tells us to look at the X, or the 3. So it's going to be 2. So this is equal to 2. It's a kind of a portal to tell you where to go, where to look. So if you look at example 6, a graph. Let's see if this makes a little bit more sense if you're still confused on the table. So F G of 1. So first you're going to find G of 1. So here's your G graph. Make sure you're looking at your G graph, not the F graph. So G of 1. So here is 1. So G of 1 is here at 3. So G of 1 is equal to 3. But if you want to know F of G of 1, now you take that 3. And it's equal to 6. So F of g of 1 is equal to 6. Okay, it's a map that tells you where to look on the second graph. Gf of 2. So first you got to find what f of 2 is. So f of 2. So f of 2 is 5. So then that 5 tells you where to look. So then this is 3. So this is 5. So Gf of 2 is equal to 3. So go back to the computation. We did this on the quiz. So G is the, this is called f g of x. So g of x is on the inside. What I like to do, so f is on the outside, g is on the inside. So what I like to do is I'm going to write f. I'm going to write f of x, but I'm going to replace x with parentheses. So I'm going to write f of x, but I'm going to write this, instead of x, I'm going to put parentheses. The reason why I like to do that is it reminds me that something needs to go in here. So since g is in the inside, g will come in here. And then I'll distribute, you get 6 minus 2x plus 1. Combine these two together, you get 7 minus 2x, or negative 2x plus 7, same thing. So this is your f g of x. Of course, step 2 was put g of x in parentheses in 2. So if we go the other way, gf of x. So first I'm going to write g of x, but instead of x, I'm going to put parentheses. So it's 3 minus parentheses. And then I will put my f of x in there, 2x plus 1. So this is 3 distribute minus 2x minus 1. Combine like terms. So I have a 2 minus 2x. So sometimes they tell you to evaluate like this. So f of h of 1. Again, h, same thing as g, just a letter, it's just a function, represents a function. It's the first thing you should do. If you put these two into each other, it's going to be harder than it should be. So first thing is find h of 1. H of 1 means I'm going to replace x with 1. So h of 1 is equal to 3 parentheses 1 plus 2, which is equal to 5. Then so imagine this is just f of 5, because h of 1 is equal to 5. So then I'm going to plug 5 into f of t. So I have f5 is equal to 5 squared minus 5. That's 25 minus 5, which is equal to 20. So we can try these ones. A. So first I'm going to find f of 2. F of 2 is 2 squared minus 2, which is 4 minus 2, which is 2. Then I would do h of 2 using this 2. So I get 3, 2 plus 2, which is equal to 8. For B, first you got to find f of negative 2. F of negative 2. So it's important that you're using parentheses here, because that is a negative 4. But when you put parentheses where they need to be, that is a positive 4. So it's a big difference with the negatives. So this is 4 plus 2, which is equal to 6. Then you do h of 6, which is 3, 6 plus 2, which is equal to 20. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So the last thing, decomposing a function. So what we did earlier was we said f of g of x, right, where we put a function into a second function. So what they're asking you here is, can we find a way so the f of x is equal to g of h of x, where it's a function inside another function. So if you look at this function right here, you see that something is inside of something. This is inside of this. So that means h of x is equal to 5 minus x squared, because that's what's on the inside. And g of x is equal to the square root of x, because f of x is just this replacing that. And h and g is just the next letter of the alphabet. That's why I chose G and H. So this one, same idea. So the trick is to look for radicals or parentheses. That's how you know it's a good gist of what they are. So again, g, h of x. So h is what's inside, g is what's outside. So this is what's inside. So my h of x is 4 plus x squared. And my g of x is everything else. 4 over 3 minus square root of x. Because this will come in there and it will create